3.5 million years ago, the African savannah did not belong to humans. It merely tolerated them. The land stretched wide and unforgiving, a mosaic of dry grasslands, scattered acacia trees, and distant river lines that shimmered like promises under a merciless sun. The air carried the scent of dust, animal musk, and danger. Every sound mattered. Every shadow could mean survival or extinction. This was a world where early humans lived moment to moment, balanced on the thin edge between existence and oblivion. A small band of early humans moved cautiously across the plain. Their bodies were lean, adapted for endurance rather than strength. Their faces bore heavy brows and alert eyes, always scanning the horizon. These were not masters of the land. They were watchers, listeners, survivors. Their tools were simple: sharpened stone flakes, wooden clubs hardened in fire, crude spears shaped by instinct more than design. Yet within their minds burned something rare in the animal kingdom: curiosity mixed with cooperation. The group slowed as they approached an unfamiliar shape lying motionless ahead. It was wrong, too large, too still. The savannah was never silent without reason. Even death usually announced itself through circling vultures or prowling predators. But here, there was only the wind whispering through dry grass and the faint hum of insects. The humans exchanged low sounds, primitive vocalizations carrying uncertainty and warning. No one rushed forward. Survival had taught them patience. As they drew closer, the shape resolved into something both familiar and deeply unsettling. It was human, but not like them. The body was massive, longer and broader than any individual they had ever seen. Limbs stretched across the cracked earth, thick with muscle, the chest rising and falling slowly. The head was large, the jaw powerful, the features heavy and strange. This was no predator they recognized, yet it triggered the same fear as a lion or hyena: fear of the unknown. They stopped at a distance, forming a loose semicircle. Some gripped stones tightly, knuckles white with tension. Others held spears at the ready, their points trembling slightly. The giant human did not move. No growl, no sudden strike, just breath. Slow, labored, real. The group hesitated, torn between instinct and something deeper. Instinct said flee, but another force held them there, an awareness that this being was like them, yet not. In this era, survival depended on reading signs. The humans noticed dark stains on the ground near the giant's leg. Blood. Old, dried, but enough to suggest injury. The leg itself lay at an unnatural angle, swollen and bruised. Whatever this giant was, it had been hurt badly, alone, vulnerable, a dangerous state in a world ruled by strength. One of the older individuals stepped forward. Age had etched caution into every movement, but also wisdom. Slowly, deliberately, he crouched and picked up a stone, tossing it gently toward the giant's foot. The stone struck flesh with a dull sound. Nothing happened. The chest continued its slow rise and fall. Murmurs rippled through the group. This was not a trap. This was something else. Predators could smell blood from far away. If this giant had been lying here long, it was strange that no scavengers had claimed him. Perhaps the humans had arrived first. Or perhaps the giant himself had once been feared by every creature in this land. The idea stirred unease and awe. The group approached another step closer. The sun beat down, sweat mixing with dust on their skin. Flies buzzed around the giant's wounds. One of the younger humans flinched as the giant suddenly groaned, a deep, resonant sound that vibrated through the ground. Spears lifted instantly, hearts raced, muscles tightened, ready to run or fight. But the sound faded into silence. The giant did not rise, did not attack. He was unconscious, trapped somewhere between life and death. This moment marked something extraordinary. In a world defined by constant threat, these early humans faced a choice. They could leave Survival favored caution, or they could act. Helping another being, even one like themselves, offered no clear advantage. It carried risk, but it also carried meaning. They moved closer now, circling carefully. One reached out with the tip of a spear, nudging the giant's shoulder. Warm, alive. The giant's skin bore scars, old ones, deep and pale. This was a being who had survived many battles, many seasons. Perhaps he came from another land. Perhaps he was part of a group long lost to time. To these humans, he was both a mystery and a mirror. Water was life. One of the group broke away, running toward a nearby stream they had passed earlier. He returned with a hollowed gourd, carefully pouring water over the giant's cracked lips. Some spilled uselessly into the dust, but some was swallowed. The giant's throat moved, a sign, a fragile connection between two worlds of humanity. Others gathered leaves, pressing them against the wound on the leg. They did not understand medicine as we do today, but experience had taught them that pressure could stop bleeding, that rest could heal. These were lessons learned through pain, loss, and observation. The savannah was their teacher, harsh but honest. As the sun began to lower, shadows stretched long across the land. This was the most dangerous time. Lions hunted at dusk, hyenas followed. Staying here meant risking everything, yet leaving the giant alone now felt different than before. Something had changed. He was no longer just an unknown presence. He was someone they had touched, given water, acknowledged. When night fell, the air cooled, but danger grew. The group built a small fire, a flickering shield against predators. Flames danced, casting enormous shadows against the giant's unmoving body. To the humans, fire was both protection and mystery. It crackled and snapped, alive in its own way. They stayed awake in shifts, listening to the darkness. The giant stirred again, more violently this time. His eyes fluttered open, revealing dark, unfocused pupils. A low sound escaped his throat, not a roar, but confusion, pain, fear. The humans froze, hearts pounding. This was the moment everything could end. The giant tried to move, then cried out as pain shot through his injured leg. His massive hand slammed into the dirt. He saw the fire, the figures around him, smaller, armed, watching. For a brief moment, the world held its breath. Then something unexpected happened. The giant did not attack. He did not rise in fury. Instead, his breathing quickened, and his eyes darted between the humans with raw uncertainty. He was afraid. Fear recognized fear. One of the humans slowly lowered his spear and placed it on the ground, a deliberate act, a signal. Others followed, hesitant but trusting. The giant watched, confused, his mind struggling to understand. In that silent exchange, a bridge formed, not of language but of intention. This encounter would never be recorded in stone or bone. No cave painting would preserve it. Yet moments like this shaped the path of humanity. Cooperation over violence, curiosity over instinct, the recognition of self in another. By morning, the giant's fever had eased slightly. He drank more water. The humans stayed until the sun climbed high, then did something remarkable. They marked the path to water, arranging stones in a line the giant could follow when he was able to move. They left behind tools, simple but useful, a gift, or perhaps a farewell. When they finally departed, they did not look back. Survival demanded forward motion, but something lingered in the air, something intangible, a story without words, a memory carried not in speech but in behavior, in the quiet evolution of empathy. In later generations, myths would emerge, stories of giants, of powerful beings from the past, of encounters that blurred the line between fear and reverence. These stories did not arise from nothing. They were echoes, distorted, reshaped by time, of moments like this, when early humans encountered the unfamiliar and chose not to destroy it. Life 3.5 million years ago was brutal, uncertain, and short. But within that harshness, sparks of humanity already burned, not in monuments or technology, but in decisions made under open skies, decisions to help, to observe, to connect. This was not the age of heroes as we imagine them today. There were no names, no legends carved into history, yet these early humans carried something far more powerful, the foundation of what we would one day become. In the endless struggle for survival, they discovered something unexpected. Sometimes the greatest strength was not in the spear or the stone, but in the courage to approach the unknown and see it not as an enemy, but as another life worth saving.